Hello everybody, today I'll show you how to use the Urban Sketch Photoshop action. Before we get started, let's view a few examples. With this action, you simply need to open your image and run the action. And this will create something like this. The final effect will try to emulate a hand-drawn illustration of the cityscapes. And this action works best with city photos, architectures, buildings. Here is another example. Let's view a few more. So the final layers and the folders that this action creates, it has the ability to switch them off so that you can get the sketch effect only. You can hide the watercolor color effects and reveal the sketch part only. And this is the only watercolor with the sketch parts hidden. So you can try and mix and match various combinations and find out which suits your composition. And also, what's more, the final effect creates different layers for the color channels. Like the one that you're seeing right now is only the color around the red hue, red color. So only that is highlighted and the rest is hidden off. So the final effect also creates layers like that. So now you're seeing the blue color only. So it's just a one click to show the color. You don't have to do any advanced adjustments. We'll get into details when we run the action. Also, the action creates different color modes, like 15 color overlays on the image and 10 overall color presets, which you can simply toggle by click showing and hiding them and applying on the overall image. Okay, let's get started. First, I'll be using this image. I'm just dragging and dropping it on Photoshop to open this one. And before we get started, we have to take care of a few things for the action to work properly. So go to image mode and make sure RGB color and 8 bits per channel is selected. Next, click this flyout menu and click panel options. Make sure use default masks and fill layers and add copy to copy layers and groups are selected. Now regarding image size, so this action works best with the large images, like images having large sizes. So it's recommended that you have at least 3000 pixels along the shorter axis, whichever it is. If you have a landscape image like this one, so here width is the shorter axis, so this one is more than 3000 pixel. And if you have a portrait image, so your width will be the shorter axis. So in this case the height is a shorter axis. So for a portrait image, your width will be a shorter axis and it should be more than 3000 pixel. You can just crank up your dimension, and if it becomes blurry, it doesn't matter on the final image that much. So you can try and experiment and see with which size you're getting the best results. And it works with the in resolution with 72 to 300 pixels per inch. Next, let's load up our files. So to do that, go to File, Open, and navigate to the main files, which comes in the download package. And from there, select these 4 files: the brush file, patterns, action file, and the tool presets. and click open. So you might get this prompt for loading the tool presets. This only comes in PowerShop 6 2018. If you have a lower version of PowerShop, this will not come, so you're good to go. But if this prompt comes, always select load as tools. Do not select import as brushes, just click load as tools. So all your files are now loaded, and if you want to verify, you can just see them. So we need to open our actions panel. To do that, go to window and action. Yes, so this is the action that has been loaded just now. And for the other files, the brush one, you can just see that here's the urban sketch brushes. And also if you go to edit, presets and preset manager, if you go to patterns from here, you will see that the patterns have been loaded. So these are the patterns, and if you go to tools, you'll see that the tools have also been loaded. So now there's a very important part, and that is select this brush tool and make sure your build mode is normal and opacity is set to 100% and also flow is set to 100% and smoothing is 0. So if you have a lower version of Photoshop than Photoshop CC 2018, then you won't be having the smoothing parameter, so that's fine. But the other parameters like opacity and flow must be set to 100%, and also make sure these tablet icons are unchecked. They must not be clicked. So make sure these three parameters are set like this: mode to normal, opacity to 100%, and flow to 100%. With this all, you're now ready to go. Just select this urban sketch action and hit play. Don't select this folder because you won't be able to click the play button from here. You have to select the action and then click play. So it will take some time for the action to finish rendering. We'll fast forward from here and get back when it's done. Okay, so the action has finished rendering. Let me zoom in a bit and show you the final details. Okay, so now let's go over the elements. So first we have the background base color. So you can change this, but it'll just show through the area where we have transparency. So as you can see, it's showing through here. So if you want to change the background color, you have to change this one, and also you have to make modification on this frame layer because this is what is holding over here. So what you can do is, if you hide this frame, then it's fine. You can change the color of the background base color. It will affect the overall canvas. But if you have this frame open, then also you can simply pick up the color that you're using over here and then copy it and then paste it in the here. So now, in this way you have a complete canvas color change. So I'll quickly undo this to white. Okay, here we have our core image elements, and if we hide this, so these are our watercolor elements, and if we hide this, so we now have the sketch elements, which is this one. So you can toggle this on and off pretty easily by clicking this eyeball icon and reveal the sketch elements only, and also you can hide the sketch elements to reveal the watercolor parts only. So now what you can do over here is that with this you can expand this watercolor all watercolor elements also, and also what you can do is with this mask selected from image elements and the brush, selecting one of them from this download pack, uh, you can select this one and you can paint on this mask with black to hide parts of this image or paint with white to reveal them. I'll just show you. I'll just paint parts with black, and you can see that it's pretty easy to reveal parts of the sketch and hide parts of the watercolor elements. And what you can do here is that you can paint here or you can also paint here. So this is the frame, and you can paint here with white to reveal parts of the frame so it covers up the watercolor area like this. or you can paint with black to reveal the watercolor areas. Okay, let's now go into this all watercolor folders. So what it does is it has the complete color set of the image. You can hide this one and you can show the red only. You can also do this with the blue, the yellow, and the green. So now one thing you need to do is you have this additional splatter elements here, which are inside these additional elements. They only contain these droplets. One is droplet for the margin area around the periphery and the droplets overall. So now if you want to apply this selected color folders and like take for example I'm only showing the blue color, so it might look weird to have my droplets with other colors. So what you can do is you can change the color by double clicking here on the layer to open the FX layer style, and you can change the color from here. As you can see, it's changing the color to blue. So if you're showing blue channel here, you can change the color to blue, but I'll go back to the all color and I'll show you what elements are there inside it. So first we have three color layers. One is highlights only, one is shadows, and another is complete. So I'll zoom in a bit so that you can see the details. I can show this watercolor complete, and if I hide this, I'll have only these two visible. So you can also show one of them, and the highlights only will only color the lighter areas of the image, and the shadows only will color the darker areas of the image. So you can experiment out, and if you want some abstract cool partial watercolor look, you can easily try with this one. And here's also one more thing: if you enable both of them, you will see that you'll get some watercolors separation like we have in real watercolor painting. We just apply the wet watercolor on the canvas and we have a white margin between the two color region, like we don't want them to blend mix. So that effect is also there if you show both of them. And if you feel that this white is strong at some places, what you can do is you can open this, you can enable this watercolor complete. So it's more like a complete watercolor painting smudged effect look. And what you can do is you can take a black brush and on the layer mask you can paint. I'll suggest you paint with black on the nearer region like this and this. So that is how we paint technically, and we keep this far area like soaked up. Also what you can do is you can simply hide this separate layers and also keep this watercolor complete visible. So that's up to you and to what effect you're looking for in your final composition. So feel free to experiment out with this and get the best look out of it. And also here is increase color tone, and you can simply adjust the opacity of this layer and this will try to saturate the colors. If you have a washed out color, I'm having a proper balanced color with this image, so it might happen that with some images you are getting some washed out color. You can simply increase the opacity of this layer to enrich your color tones. Same goes for the other color channel. Here we have our standard uh, colored layer and we have our color layer to increase the tone. Next we have the frame, so we cover the frame and you can paint the layer mask with the brushes to hide parts of the watercolor elements. So I'll close the droplets layer also, and here we have our default toning for the watercolor elements. So it's better to keep it as it is, and if you're changing this, make sure it's like affecting the properly on the overall image. So if you change them, it can drastically impact on the overall color quality. So make sure you are doing it right when you're changing this. But I would prefer it to be kept intact, and you can change the color tones, brightness, contrast from this overall adjustment folder. So next we have our 15 image color effects. So you can apply color effects to the image watercolor area only with just a single click. And now we have the sketch elements. So I'll hide this watercolor area just to give you a clear view of this sketch area. I'll zoom in a bit. At the bottom we have our complete sketch. It's ultra fine, it's very thin, and we have our complete sketch standard. Hide this layer to reveal the ultra thin layer. So if you hide this one, you'll see that uh, below this ultra fine layer now is showing up. So actually this one is covering up on this ultra fine layer. So if you want a finer sketch, you need to simply hide this one. And here we have a filler sketch. Like if you hide this one, you'll see that these are some strong lines on the darker areas. So you can keep it as it is, and you can also hide it if you want a cleaner sketch. And here we have our hatching, one cross hatch, one side hatch, and this is another side hatch. So along with this, you can also change the color of this pen. Like if you want to have a simple sketch with a different color pen, you can simply enable this colored layers, and we'll have a different color on the overall sketch area. You can also change the color by simply double clicking here to open this color window and color picker, and you can change it from here. So I'll hide the other layers so that you can see. Okay, now I'll enable this image elements, turn them back on. Next we have our textures. One more thing, you can also select this layer mask and paint with black to hide the sketch areas, and also paint with white to reveal parts of the sketch areas like this. Okay, now let's go over the textures. So here we have our texture toning. So this one tries to so when we apply a texture layer, so it might darken up the image. So for a few images it might happen, and so you can crank up this opacity to like turn the saturation kind of on and nullify the dark effect of the texture layer which you are applying. So this is just a basic toning, so you need not to change that much over here. And here we have one paper texture. Let me zoom in a bit. And second paper texture, which is more of a canvas look. I'll keep the first one. Next we have our 10 overall color presets, which you can simply apply by one click showing this eyeball icon. Next we have our overall adjustments. You can change the parameters over here, and this will affect the entire image. Here we have our overall gradient map. You can change the gradient map to some other vintage effect, sepia effect, or black and white, monochrome colors, dual tone colors. Here we have our overall gradient fill. You can change the color, the orientation, scale. You can also try experimenting with the blending mode to see which one is giving you a better effect. Next we have our overall color fill. This gives just a one monochrome look to your entire image. And you can also delete this group and again run the action, and every time you run it you'll get slightly different variations from what you got previously. So I'll quickly run this action on another image. I'll just check the image size. So it's around 2177 pixels on the shorter axis, which is the width. I'll just change it to 3000 to get better results. And I'll check that my brush opacity and fluorescence to 100%, mode is normal, and I'll select the action and hit play. So get back when it's done. Let's fast forward from here. So it's done, and this is the final effect. You can try with the selected color range like the red or blue, or you can hide other image elements to get a sketch effect. I'll turn this standard sketch off to reveal the finer sketch. And this is the watercolor only. And all the settings are same as the previous example. So that's it pretty much for this urban sketch Photoshop action. Hope you like this effect. See you soon.